requires discipline, strategy, and finely honed skills. Traders are up against the best and brightest Wall Street has to offer. At TraderInsight.com, you can look over the shoulder of one of America's top traders. Join Dr. Adrian Manz and a cast of highly talented traders as they earn their living navigating the markets, one stock at a time, one trade at a time. TraderInsight.com. Strategy, discipline, results.
For TraderInsight.com, this is Adrian Manz, and this is Stocks and Sectors on the Radar for Thursday, November 13th, 2008. Well, the Dow Jones Industrials got whacked on Wednesday, and we got down here to just about the support level that we've been talking about. We can expect to see lots and lots of price activity around there. There's still some downside potential in the market. Obviously, we still have a pretty big move lower that could happen another 400 or 500 points before we really get a retest of the lows that were put in. But let's see what happens. Things don't look too good for Thursday. We've had Treasury Secretary Paulson come out and say that the Fed has now changed its mind and is not going to buy up those bad mortgage notes, which may be good news, maybe that's bad news, depending on which side of the fence you're on that one. But it's certainly the case that the markets don't like uncertainty, and that's exactly what they were handed today, as the Dow closed down 411 and a quarter points, with only 238 advancers versus 2,871 decliners. Major bad news for the internals. We had 1.45 billion change hands. That's decent volume, good volume, but it's certainly not anything anyone would call a capitulation move. The other indices, S&P 500, same thing, had a pretty major break lower. That's dwarfed in comparison to the NASDAQ 100 and the NASDAQ Composite, which both put in major moves. NASDAQ Composite, as you can see, 81.69. It's down. That's a 1,490 point index now. That's a big move for that one. So we know that the Fed has changed basically a policy that relates to the financial sector. So we're going to look to the financials, the brokers, the dealers for Thursday's trading as well as for the rest of the week. We're also going to keep an eye on the VIX, right? We were looking at the VIX, seeing what it was doing. It had reverted to the mean. We had a nice pullback. Now it looks like the VIX is kind of establishing a new mean, which is going to be at some higher levels. So keep that in mind as we move forward here. And everybody's saying, well, everything's oversold or whatever, and how much more oversold can it get? It looks like volatility expansions are going to be the norm, at least for a little while going forward here. Now let's look at, we're going to look at the broker dealers here. We see the breakdown, the obvious breakdown below support there, and that holds true for just about all the financials, the banks, and brokers alike, as well as the insurance companies. So we're going to be looking at all of those on Thursday and probably over the next 5 or 10 sessions. So in that basket, I'm going to be looking at Bank of America. You see here it had a breakdown day today. Lousy day for B of A, and I'm going to be watching BAC on Thursday and Friday for signs of intraday pullbacks to the upside, followed by additional downside. That's assuming, of course, that the market continues to move lower. Market shoots to the upside, there's some kind of good news tomorrow. I'll be putting these on the back burner. Maybe I'll go to the beach. But for the time being, Bank of America, then that naturally means I'm going to be watching Merrill Lynch. That was not as big of a bar today. Definitely not as much range or percent of price in a move, but look at these lows back here. Still have the potential to get in there and test those. We also are going to be watching Morgan Stanley, same kind of a deal. Not a huge range day today, but definitely a solid down day. That thing lost $2 on the session, so that's bad news for Morgan, and good reason to watch it Thursday and Friday. Now it also hit Goldman. Look at this. Goldman was a $200 stock just a few months ago. Here we are at $66.79. So what's going on here? Everybody's getting hit. Everybody in the financials is getting whacked. Goldman's no exception. Their news isn't so great. So going forward, pullbacks and drops in Goldman Sachs are going to be things that I'm looking to trade. Then I've also got a few other plays. We know again that realty is always on my mind. Now the home builders, they're already so beaten up, it's hard to find one that's even worth shorting. But things like AMB property, look at that fastball move today. It's not out of a clean consolidation or anything, not a sort of classic fastball, but that range expansion coupled with that volume expansion to the downside, has me interested in the stock for Thursday. Then we've got in the natural resources arena, we've got Canadian Natural Resources. Same thing, this one had a pullback and a little consolidation over the last few days. Looked like maybe it was going to firm up around the 20 and then bam, got whacked too. So any trade in Canadian Natural Resources below probably 38.25 on broader weakness in the sector and in the indices, and I'm going to be looking to short this one. Now in consumer or in the consumer-related stocks, Polaris. If you've been following my stuff for a long time, you know Polaris is boy, it's always on the frequent flyer list around here. And Polaris this time around, you know, looks like snowmobiles ain't going to be what they used to be. Polaris is headed lower. We had a major fastball expansion of range and volume today, and trade below 24.65 or so on Thursday, coupled again with weakness in the broader indices and specifically in the consumer, you know, all the consumers, the retails, those areas. I'm going to be looking at those for signs of what to expect from Polaris. But this really had a lot of range today, almost $6 move in Polaris, and I'm going to watch this again on Thursday for additional downside. And finally, Valmont Industries. This one looks to be breaking lower out of a consolidation range, and I'm going to be looking on this for a move lower and a retest of this support and resistance area here. And I'm going to see what happens once it gets there. No real guarantees on this, I guess, in my mind, but you know, I'm always looking for opportunities, and I guess everybody in this business is looking for opportunities. So hopefully, you know, hopefully that'll be a good one for Thursday and Friday, and hopefully before too long we're going to start getting some on the upside, so that everyone doesn't look quite so morose every time I see someone who wants to talk about the market. But in the meantime, hey, we're traders. We're looking for tradable entries, tradable entry opportunities, and this is what the market's handing us, so this is what we're going to deal with. So if you have any questions or comments, email me at adrian@traderinsight.com. And again, for traderinsight.com, this is Stocks and Sectors on the Radar. Have a great trading day on Thursday.